not funny. It's going to be awkward.
It doesn't matter if it's not funny. Hey, welcome to BSB TV. I'm Kevin Gaming. I've got Joanna Predo. How you going?
Good, Kevin. First day the kids are back at school. I am getting a lot done. Let me put it that way. It's good. Productive day.
So you've got more done this morning before, this morning before midday. That normally is when the morning is. Than you did in the last 3 weeks.
It kind of feels like that, yeah. And nobody's screaming in the background, and unless my husband starts. But yeah, exciting.
Fantastic. Now, today we're going to have a chat about the importance of your messaging, but particularly for social media and understanding how to use social media better, whether it's your page or group that you're in or messages that you're putting out generally, and as opposed to ads. So we'll call it posts and ads to help everyone understand. You call it something a little bit different, don't you?
Oh, it's copywriting for social media. Yeah.
No, but you said like
Yeah.
Sorry,
Captions.
something funny.
Captions.
What's that?
Captions.
Yeah. Awesome. But let's just call it posts and ads. And cool. So when we're thinking about our business and we're thinking about social media is so seductive to small business because all of a sudden you can speak to thousands of people. Hey, whoever Facebook user is, I'm glad you're here, but we don't know your name because StreamYard doesn't let us know. Thank you for joining in. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to write them out and we'll see them straight away. So, Joanna, what is the golden rule if you're going to use social media to promote your business?
Oh, how do I limit it to just one? Something that I always want to drive home, and it sounds obvious, but we all fall victim to it sometimes, is we need to be incredibly careful about what we write. So, once it's out there, I'm sure we've all seen celebrities and things like that who have really had a social media update come back and bite them in the backside because they didn't think, they put it up, someone got offended, and career's over. So yeah, once it's out there, it's out there.
If you haven't done that, you just haven't lived. Trust me, it is so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in general, think about what you're putting out there first, and then follow through with And if you've made a mistake, be happy to own the mistake.
100%. Yeah, people are. We have to remember with copywriting, and copywriting is in everything in your business. It's your website, social media, the words on your packaging, everything will affect the way that people feel about you and feel about your brand. And everything that we do is a translation of an inhuman experience. Sorry, as in experience we have as humans. And, if you do make a mistake and you own up and you say, hey, we made a mistake and we're really sorry, people are far more willing to be forgiving than if you try and, become defensive and blame other people for what you've done. So, something really important to remember.
Absolutely. Now, here at Business Small Business, we do believe that we will build, the basis of every good business is good relationships. Okay. So when we think about that, and we think about social media, let's start with the post side of things or the caption posts. Let's just start with posts. Where do you start with posts?
Okay. So your main objective here is engagement, connection, and rapport building. Okay. So many businesses make the mistake of thinking that because they have a business page, everything that they post needs to be about their business. And this just couldn't be further from the truth. The key here is that it is called social media, and so therefore we need to be social. And again, I liken it to those updates that you're putting on your business page, whether it's your stories, it's whatever it is. Think about how would that translate to an in-person experience. If everything that you're putting out is saying, hey, here's our business and we mow lawns, and if you've got a lawn, you should pay us to come and mow your lawn, people get really turned off by it. If somebody approached you in real life and you just went about your business, then they would be like, oh, okay, I'm a bit uncomfortable. Don't make everything an ad. And my rule is, if you would feel uncomfortable saying it in real life, don't put it on social media. And while that can be talking about, really sort of borderline offensive things, it can also be like really kind of salesy jargon and things like that. And I've worked with businesses before who put, you remember those infomercials that were like, but wait, there's more. That's an example of something that you probably wouldn't say to a mate if you were hanging out having a beer.
But
And
we
yet
love chucking his steak knives.
and I see those kinds of really salesy, gimmicky sort of phrases being thrown around. And it can actually really build a wall between you and your audience, and it's not what you want.
So on your page, you're saying, so it's really around, what did you say? Connection,
Yeah,
engagement?
engagement, connection, and rapport building. That's not to say that you shouldn't post about your business, because you definitely should, but you've got to make sure that it's not the only thing that you're posting about, and find other ways to incorporate information about your business that is a lot more organic. Things like behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes, even though you might be like, this is so boring, all I'm doing is stuffing jewelry in a mailing envelope. People sit there and they watch it, and that is advertising and promoting your business in a far more subtle and organic way that is a lot more engaging than just trying to shove it down somebody's throat.
Absolutely. And humor.
Yes.
Humans love humor.
I've got a couple of examples here of things that you can share on your social media. So, appropriate memes. Again, think about your demographic. What are they going to find funny? Make sure they are appropriate. This is one of those things you need to be careful what you say. My rule is, if in doubt, just don't share it. Even if it's 1% of doubt, don't do it. Things like meaningful quotes that are relevant to your demographic. I'm a young mum, and I engage with businesses who share really inspirational things. I could be having a really hard day as a mum, and I'm scrolling my feed and I see something come up that just kind of gives me a little bit more, spurs me on for the rest of the day, I guess. Relevant blogs go along with that as well. Things that are interesting to your demographic, behind the scenes we've talked about, anecdotes from your personal life. Obviously, only share things that you're comfortable with, and be aware that if you put things out that are personal, people are not always nice.
And it's out there. So absolutely.
Yeah,
And people may misinterpret what you've said. And so that's where I'm going to encourage people to protect themselves in relation to this as well. And we've had a little bit of a chat about this earlier, but it really is important that people do protect themselves. And that it's also, when you comment on other people's stuff, that's an ad for your business every single time as well. And so many people forget that part of it. I see some comments floating around in business, small business, that aren't, some cross the line and we act appropriately and we do the right thing. Others may not be downright rude and disrespectful, but oh my God, I would not want that associated with my brand. And I'm thinking, that's an ad for your business.
That's right. They will trace it back. Absolutely. Even if you have not commented as your business page, you've commented on your personal account. It doesn't take long for somebody to go, that was a really rude comment, and now I see that person owns such and such, and it gives them a bad taste. When I talk about anecdotes from your personal life, I'm not necessarily talking about how your mum died or whatever. I'm talking about funny things that your kids said, something like that. Maybe you went on a family trip to the zoo and you took your products with you and they were really helpful, and anything that's relatable from your personal life, for your demographic. You can put up
went to the
customer
races
reviews.
maybe you went to the races and the dog ate your topiary tree, so the ball dropped or something like that. Funny stories.
That's exactly right. That's what I mean. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. So you were saying?
Customer reviews are a great thing to put up as a status update. In fact, and we're going to get to ads in a minute, but I just wrote an ad for a very successful legal business. And they have a video accompanying their ad, and the only thing in the video is like a reel of all of these different 5-star reviews that they've had on Google. So really, it gives a lot of credibility. It's what we call user-generated content that says, of course, you're going to say good things about your business because it's your business. But to have somebody else say it, you want to share that other people think that you're amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Ando, Adrian has actually asked, so how often should you try and post a day?
The loaded question.
I
I
know.
wish I had a really straightforward answer for you. The main answer is that it is different depending on your demographic. If your demographic are 19, 20-year-old uni students, they might be online more than somebody who, is working 60 hours a week in a full-time job or something like that. The best advice I can give is to really have a good look, do a little bit of trial and error. Post frequently, don't post frequently, post at different days, different times, and then go in and have a look at your insights in the back end of your Facebook and your Instagram and have a look at what was working the best for your demographic, and then try and use that to create a bit more of a timeline of when and how often you post. Most people just want to see that the business is active. I've done a bit of market research myself and said, hey, does it matter how many followers I have? Do people actually care about that? And the overwhelming response came back and said, we just want to see that you're active. If the last time you shared something was 3 months ago, then we start to assume that you're not, and we go and look elsewhere. Yeah. So I
Cool.
say, once or twice a week is probably fine, but up to you and your demographic.
So I want to talk about the demographic part just for a second again,
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that we've kind of said a few times, but we haven't really defined it. So it's a funny thing. I know a guy who does advertising, and he does it for concreters and roofers and blah, blah, blah. And he does it for, the tough nut dudes of society. And his advertising in a broader group like business, small business, completely inappropriate, but it really pulls in the demographic that he wants, right?
Yeah.
So, it is, a bit provocative, and it is on, a whole lot of different levels, but also he's got a whole little angry streak going through there, and wants to drink from the skulls of his enemies. Look, and for his audience, that's awesome. But if you post that sort of thing inside a group like Brisbane Small Business, you're going to alienate 90% of the audience, and you might go, well, I only care about the 10, but what you're doing is you're disrupting that environment. And so you're going to fall foul of the admin of that sort of thing fairly quickly if you are pushing the boundaries too hard. So, it needs to be appropriate for both your demographic and for the environment that you're putting it into.
I think once you get to the stage where you have really established your place in the market and everybody knows who you are, there is actually a restaurant, and I think there's maybe more than one in the States, where the whole purpose is you go there and the staff are mean to you. And this
I've
sounds
heard about
crazy,
this.
right? This sounds insane. And it's absolutely not for everyone. Of course, but they have a really specific demographic who are so dedicated to them and so loyal. However, if they were a startup business and they were trying to push this agenda, chances are that they would alienate people. However, they've got themselves to that point that they can do that, and that is their brand, and the right people buy from them.
I've got a little add to that, a little addition to that. So they actually created as a test market a pop-up restaurant, and I think it was in South Bank, right? And they actually had to close down because people were abusing thought it was okay to abuse the staff back because they didn't quite understand the concept. And for their own staff safety, they had to shut it down because they didn't have the presence in the marketplace in Australia. And so it was a great concept in the wrong environment and yielded not the right result. So let's and we'll come back another day and we'll talk about ads, I think, because we've gone for our 15 minutes. But some really cool points have come out today. You know, I really like the fact that we've talked about, hey, and we keep saying it, know your demographic, understand how you can engage with them. That's the very first point.
Yeah.
The thing that really struck me, and I'm always learning. So thank you so much for today because I'm learning again, right?
You are welcome.
Well, on your own page, you think, hey, stuff should be about my business, but it doesn't have to be. It can be about stuff as long as it's engaging with your audience, and that's going to help you build your trust. And that's the point of the post is really generic posts are about building trust, not about quick fire sales.
And I mean, the good thing with your status updates is they don't cost you anything to put them up. Okay, so you can have this trial and error of what works and what doesn't work. Whereas when you're paying for an ad, obviously that's a completely different kettle of fish, and we've got to get the copy right. Otherwise, you're throwing money down the toilet. But yeah, the main objective is engagement, which builds brand awareness, which, you know, somebody sees you've posted something funny, they go, hey, what's that business? I'm going to go and check them out. And then they're on your website and, you know, bam, customer, hopefully.
And with that, give people a reason to respond.
Yeah.
So many people make statements in their posts and there's no reason to respond. You won't create engagement with a statement.
That's right. Open-ended questions, you know, are the best. Things that are thought-provoking, you know, and again, think if this was an in-person interaction, what would I say and how would I say it? And use that to determine what it is that you share.
And I love that. So with that, Joanna from Whimsical Wordsmith, thank you very much for your support today. Thank you very much for your support for Brisbane Small Business and the members of Brisbane Small Business. I really appreciate it. I hope they do too. And look, hey, Maria's already said thank you. So people are enjoying it.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks very much. And I'll catch you later.
Okay.
Don't jump off yet. Wait till we finish.